Hello, everyone. It's your life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We are here. We're excited to have everybody on the show today, watching us, supporting us. And we're really excited about our guests today. But let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley. I am the co-host, and we have Dr. Michael Mantell, co-host as well. How are you doing, Dr. Mantell?
Doing great, trying to stay cool in this warm weather we're having. But it's always a pleasure and privilege to be here with you because you lighten it all up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And Dr. James J.C. Cooley, he will not be on the show today due to the passing of his daughter. And we thank you again for your well wishes and your condolences and your sympathy. So we really appreciate that. Hey, we've got Todd here. Hey, Todd, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I wish I was like Dr. Mantell yesterday, hanging out outside.
Right.
It's a beautiful day out there. It is hot, but it still is beautiful. We're blessed here in Southern California.
We sure are.
Well, Texas is a different type of heat, so I wouldn't be sitting in my backyard doing this show. But you know what? We're just, like I said, we're just excited to have everybody here, and we love the audience, and we're here for a great show. Let's hit it, Todd.
All right, we're starting here in 30 seconds.
Whoa, 30
Increase
seconds.
your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be. Let us give you an absolutely free audit of your current marketing and what your competition is doing. Our digital sales and support teams are the best in the industry and deliver customized personal service that's second to none.
If you're a local business and ready for the next step, visit surroundsandiego.com. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Surroundsandiego.com.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Woo! Welcome back, everybody. Hey, it's Dr. Michelle Cooley, the co-host, and Dr. Michael Mantell, the co-host of It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We are here to motivate, educate, and inspire everybody. And, we have an amazing guest today. Dr. Mantell, what do you love about, just bringing amazing guests on the show and how they motivate and inspire us?
Well, it certainly is always educational. It's always uplifting. It's always positive. And today's guest, of course, adds to that vibrant, informative perspective that we always get. People love learning this way. And we're going to learn a lot from today's guest, particularly because of what she's involved in professionally and personally.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Well, today's title of this show is Taking Command of Your Life and Business. And our guest today will be Sandra Gonzalez. She is a retired Marine officer, executive coach, entrepreneur, and global speaker. And she's going to discuss helping leaders find equilibrium and also avoiding burnout. So again, Sandra's a retired Marine officer turned executive coach, speaker, who helps high caliber entrepreneurs, business executives, CEOs elevate their mindset so they can take command of any room they step into and magnetize opportunities for growth. She's passionate about empowering leaders so they can be authentic as they lead others in achieving high performance. She has spoken in Dubai, Miami, Austin, Los Angeles, Mexico, and currently resides in San Diego, California. Sandra has two daughters, Alyssa, a junior at UCSD, and her oldest daughter, Alana, is a U.S. Marine veteran studying psychology in North Carolina. So, audience, please welcome to the show, Sandra Gonzalez. Hi, Sandra. How are you?
Hi there.
Hello, Dr. Mantell. Dr. Cooley, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Oh, well, I'm sure there's more to you than what I read in your bio. So can you tell the audience a little bit more about yourself besides what I read in your bio?
Wow. Well, you definitely were able to capture the most important things. So thank you. But I I'm your girl next door that serves 20 years of honorable service as a U.S. Marine. I grew up in San Diego. I was born in Los Angeles, California. I'm passionate about helping leaders step into their best version of themselves. And like you mentioned, I'm also a proud mom of two incredible young women. My oldest served in the Marine Corps. She just graduated and got her degree in psychology. And like you mentioned, my youngest is a junior here at UCSD. Proud mom.
You have a lot to be proud of, and thank you for your service and for your daughter's service as well. How did you, when you came to San Diego as a young child, what influenced you to go into the military?
Mhm. Such a great question, Dr. Mentel. So it was my father. It was my father who planted the seed. And that's one of many things we must do as leaders, because I'm sure you've already experienced, Dr. Mentel, leadership has changed, right? We must change the way we lead people. So going back to my father, he planted the seed and he said, Mija, you should join the military. Now I bring my father up because I grew up with a very dominant male figure. My dad was proud of his machismo. And my father had what I call sexy confidence. He exuded sexy confidence, this ability to master ourselves so we can stay calm during stressful challenges and situations. So he was very assertive. He knew what he wanted in life. And although my father had maybe a high school education, he was guided by his moral principles, his moral values, and led himself and his family with certainty, confidence, and conviction. So it was my father who said, Mija, you should join the military. And I wanted, to be honest, I wanted to be an interior decorator. I said, but Dad, I want to go to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. It's the best school with regards to architecture and interior design. I can learn so much. He said, Mija, there's one problem here. I can't afford to send you to that university, but I highly recommend you join the military. Now, I knew later on my father was living vicariously through me. So he always wanted to serve this country. And although he came when he was 17 years old, he became a proud American
Mhm.
and, wanted to be in the military. Now, when I joined, I chose the Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. And when I joined the Marine Corps, my first commanding officer had sexy confidence. Now, this man later became a general. This man later became the 26th U.S. Secretary of Defense. And this man, General James N. Mattis, exuded sexy confidence. He was able to master himself and stay calm during stressful challenges and situations. And I share this because this is what leaders need now more than ever. And this is what my father had, the man who suggested I join the military.
Wow. So, what lessons did the military teach you that you live by today, Sandra?
Oh, I'm so grateful for all those wonderful, beautiful lessons the Marine Corps taught me. The military taught me, specifically this man, General James N. Mattis, Mad Dog, as they called him. He specifically taught me that I needed to develop my emotional intelligence as a leader. That if you develop your emotional intelligence, you can not only better understand yourself, what you're going through, but the more you understand yourself, self concept, the more you understand who you are and what you stand for, the better we are able to serve others, the better we are able to inspire, uplift, breathe life into others. So I can go on and on. I also learned that, it wasn't necessarily about barking orders, although many leaders do that, especially in the military. What I learned was that you have to be authentically yourself in order to connect with people. And learning that authenticity piece meant I could be comfortable in my skin being me. And it's okay that if people that I repel people along the way. It's okay because I'm going to attract the right people into my life. So I can go on and on about all the leadership skill sets, I developed in the Marine Corps, but I would say it's definitely changed over the years, because adaptability is the name of the game. Things have changed. And I know you've experienced that as well.
When we think about exceptional leaders, really the top people, and we would put you into that category based on your background and all that you've brought to organizations and leaders and so forth. You sort of hinted at the importance of having confidence, which means the ability to accept me as I am. And we talked a little bit about spirituality before we came on. And to understand that when anything happens, it may look bad, but we really know it's ultimately for our own benefit. Mm-hmm. Now, we have a couple moments left, and you used a term that's important that we define for our audience: emotional intelligence, the ability to have self-awareness, to manage yourself, and to know how to respond to other people. In a couple of minutes left, we'll talk about this afterwards, but talk a little bit about how you teach that to people, this idea of emotional intelligence, not just IQ.
Yes. So you brought up, a good topic that what comes to mind is self-awareness, Dr. Mentel, really, and this is what I share with other leaders is, if you want to really connect with other people, you have to start with yourself. You have to make the time to develop self-awareness. And it's very simple how I help other leaders, because the best way I learn is Barney style. And I bring up that term Barney style because when I was in the Marine Corps, I was a Marine Corps drill instructor. And the best way to get these recruits to take action was by teaching them at the most basic level, which is this Barney style level. So going back to the emotional intelligence piece, it's about developing self-awareness. The moment we wake up, it's being cognizant of, what am I thinking? Oh, I don't want to get out of bed. It's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but I decided today that I would hold myself accountable and get my derriere to the gym.
Sandra, hold that thought. We got to take a commercial break. It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be right back.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man's point of view is the newest.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah. Come on. James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Welcome back to It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We're on KCBQ, San Diego, Salem Media. And hey, audience, if you want to be part of this conversation, call in at 1-888-344-1170. That's 1-888-344-1170. We're also live streaming on over 65 live streaming platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Put in your comments there, your questions with this amazing guest today, Sandra Gonzalez. And welcome back. So, Sandra, I know you talked a little bit about the lessons you learned being in the military, but you entered the service as an enlisted Marine and advanced to the rank as an officer, as Chief Warrant Officer. What made you or led you to become a military officer?
Great question. So what led me to become a Marine Corps officer at that? I felt at a point in my career, it was my duty, my responsibility, my moral obligation to step into uncertainty and serve my Marines to the best of my ability. And I realized that I would have to do that now as an officer. So I share that because as leaders, wherever we are, leadership is a choice. It's not a position. Leadership is a choice. And there comes a point in your life or in your business, in your organization, where we have to constantly challenge ourselves. And I was at that point in my life where I knew I have to challenge myself. I have to step into this new realm. What is that? For me, it was becoming an officer. So it was the school, the academy was very challenging. It was not easy, but it's during those difficult, strenuous, arduous moments that we grow. And for the people that are watching, the leaders that are watching, again, leadership is not a position, it's a choice we make every single day. Now, having said that, the best thing we can do is cultivate this growth mindset of challenging ourselves not settling for mediocrity. So that was the pinnacle for me, the point that I realized I need to step into bigger shoes and I have to trust myself.
Sexy confidence, you call it. You got it. Now, we know that leaders manage, they lead, they inspire, they build culture. On the other side, we have our personal lives. Let's talk a little bit about how you can take command of both your life and your business and thrive and, move forward. Talk a little bit about some specific techniques that you offer leaders to help them do that.
Wonderful question, Dr. Mantell. The one thing that really comes up that leaders struggle with is time management. And this question I get asked, often. It's like, Sandra, how do I, you're so disciplined. You get up at a certain hour, you do this, you do. And again, this is a habit. Now I've developed what I call high caliber habits. But the time management, time is currency. So we need to be intentional with our time. What am I doing this moment? Something simple. My daughter was just here last week. I was present in the moment. I wasn't worried about work or anything else. I wasn't thinking about the future because the future is just an illusion. The past is gone. So it's important for us to be present. And this is one of the things that I share with these incredible high caliber leaders is be present with your daily interactions. If we can be present in this moment, that's where the gift lies, in this present moment, then things will fall into place. We will be able to masticate life. Life will be more meaningful. You'll be more, again, because you're present, people will connect with you more. So time management is definitely one of these skill sets we need to continuously develop.
Sandra, how do you're an amazing speaker, a coach. What high points do you communicate with your audience regarding leaders and helping them find equilibrium, but also avoiding burnout? Like, what is the most common question you get from leaders when you're speaking about, how can they do this? How can they do that? Can you kind of go into that?
Yes. So some of the things that I get from leaders is they feel guilty as far as, or they can't take a vacation, or they can't delegate authority. And that's what leads to burnout. But they feel guilty because when they're at home, they're thinking about work, or they're thinking about something else, or I'm not being productive enough. Or when they're at work, they feel guilty because they weren't really paying attention to their child when their child asked them a homework related question, or their spouse needed them to listen for a few moments, just wanted a little bit of their time. So this goes back to being present. And if we can learn to be still, if we can learn to be present, we can silence distraction and focus in on the most important thing at hand. And this, will let go of you feeling guilty or you living in the future or thinking about the past. But burnout is a real thing because they're trying to be perfectionists. They're trying to do too many things at once. And leaders need to learn how to silence distraction, delegate authority, but more importantly, learn to take care of themselves on a daily basis. Practice like these self-care habits, because if you focus on your self-care, you're going to have more energy. You're going to be more enthusiastic every single day. And if you learn how to raise your energy every single day, you're going to have the right attitude, and we have the right attitude, that determines your altitude.
In terms of this right attitude you talk about, so much of this depends on believing in yourself. Really, you mentioned it earlier, the authentic belief, I can do this. I got it. And it helps me make decisions better, which is a key element, of course, in balancing and taking command of life and work. How do you help people develop this self-belief? I call it unconditional self-acceptance. Sure, I make a mistake, but that doesn't mean I am a mistake. Perfection, there's no such thing as perfection. I believe in myself, that I have the ability, some call it self-efficacy. Talk a little bit about the tools, the methods, the goals you have in teaching leaders the importance of this concept.
Oh, such a beautiful question. Self-esteem comes to mind, Dr. Mattel, as I hear you ask me that beautiful question. So self-esteem is like our reputation with ourselves. When we look in the mirror every morning, like, what am I seeing? How do I feel about myself? That is the most important thing, the relationship we develop with ourselves. So we need to learn how to fill up our love tank. So how do we fill up our love tank? This goes back to the self-esteem piece, the self-worth piece, which is tied to the self-confidence. So it's important to fill up our love tank every single day through the things we do. We're already taking action in the morning. Why don't you take action in the right direction? Go to the gym, go eat healthy, go do things that will nourish your soul. Go do things that will nourish your brain. Go do things that will nourish your body so you can feel better about yourself. And when you do these things, small little things like making your bed, you're getting a workout in, this is filling up your love tank. Now, at the end of the day, you look back and you think, I've had an incredible day. Why did I have an incredible day? Well, I did those things I said I would do. Now, because you did those things you said you would do, you held yourself to a higher standard and you gave yourself the most important thing, evidence. And this is the one thing I share with high caliber leaders. Go after that evidence.
And we're gonna talk more about the evidence. We got to take a break. We got to pay the bills. It's Your Life with Dr. James Cooley with our guest Sandra Gonzalez.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity. Coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
There is much truth in a journey that ain't over yet, as all of us journey through life's precious gift of time, just like James Cooley has. Hi, I'm Noah Dingley, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. There's a new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet. You can join James as he shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. This is a must listen for anyone who thinks they're stuck in life or needs to understand their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstances. It dares you to be an overcomer because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Hey, 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 hey. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James JC Cooley. Hey, hey, Cooley. All right. Let's go. It's the James Cooley Show.
Thank you. Welcome back to It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley, co-host, and we have Dr. Michael Mantell co-hosting as well. Our guest, Sandra Gonzalez. Hey, audience, if you want to join in the conversation, please dial into 1-888-344-1170, 1-888-344-1170, and Todd will patch you through. Or if you want to provide some questions or comments with a live streaming platform you are seeing the show on, or on 65 live streaming platforms, just send in your comments and questions. Todd, what do you think of the show so far?
So far, very interesting.
Yes, most interesting. And she's got a lot of knowledge.
The one thing Todd didn't like, he sent me a note. What do you mean make my bed every day?
Oh my gosh.
I'm kidding. So I have a question for Sandra.
See that note? But Sandra, you left off, you talked about leadership and evidence-based. Can you kind of go a little bit more into that?
Yes. So going back to what I was saying, that it's important for leaders to give themselves evidence through the things we do on a daily basis, such as, yes, Todd, make your bed every morning, Todd. I will be watching. It's important to make our bed something so simple, right? You're probably thinking, what the heck, Sandra, does making my bed have to do with confidence? It has everything to do with confidence. It has everything to do with not going into burnout. It has everything to do with filling up your love tank, which is tied to your self-worth, your self-esteem, and your self-confidence. So when you make your bed, it's accomplishing something first thing in the morning. And as you make your bed, my recommendation is that you make your bed with this attitude of gratitude. Be grateful you have a bed. So many people didn't wake up this morning. So many people are homeless. Unfortunately, San Diego, I don't know if you've seen downtown. Be grateful for the bed you have. So when you make your bed, you've accomplished something. That gives you evidence that you're off to the races. If you set the tone for the morning, it sets the tone for the day. And when you feel accomplished, you're like, wow, I feel amazing. Now I'm structured. Now I'm organized. So now you're priming your brain. You're telling yourself, I knocked it out of the park this morning. I made my bed and I feel incredible. So now you're telling your brain how you feel. And when you do this repetitively, you prime your brain in the right direction by making your bed, you're apt to be more organized, more structured. And this becomes a high caliber habit, which now, you're able to feel better about yourself.
I say this so often, unless our mind set is set in the right direction, no matter what happens around us, even if we make the bed, we could say, oh, big deal, I made a bed. That just means I'm a jerk, I'm a loser. Rating yourself based on what you do is like emotional or psychological cancer. So when it comes to the idea of taking command of life and work, I know another tool in the toolkit is the ability to build a supportive network of people around you, and the ability to delegate. The mindset is that if I reach out, people are going to be attracted to me, and if they're not, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. I want to toss this back to you, our leadership coach, and ask you about the importance of of building network with other people with that right confident mindset.
Yes. And going back to the right confident mindset, how do we connect with other people? Because that's ultimately how we get things done. When we connect, genuinely, authentically connect with other people. This is how leaders can develop strategic alliances. Now, the best way to genuinely connect is by learning to inspire yourself foremost, because if you know how to direct your attitude, then now you've created this emotional contagion that spreads like wildfire. So now, because you're naturally enthusiastic, naturally happy, you're going to naturally attract people into your life, and they're going to want to work with you. And this is how we delegate authority, is by inspiring people, is by building that connection, is by learning to trust ourselves so we can trust other people.
Michelle, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Sandra, how can leaders create a sustainable work environment that prevents burnout from themselves as well as their teams and the people they're leading?
A sustainable work environment. So work-life environment, right, Michelle? The best way to maintain this, because you're going to require a lot of energy, is by learning how to sustain yourself. And this again goes back to those high caliber habits. It goes back to you. If you learn how to sustain these small high caliber habits that prime your brain in the right direction, that give you that energy, that bolt of energy you need to connect with others, you're going to be better able to have patience. Because that's another thing, as leaders, our brain requires a lot of power. Throughout the day, our mental cognitive resources are depleted throughout the day, especially for leaders, because they have to make strategic decisions. They have to, they're involved in a lot of complex situations and challenges that involve other people. So in order to sustain that, you have to sustain your way of life, how you take care of yourself. So if you're taken care of, you're going to be that better example for others. So it all begins with ourselves and learning to sustain our energy, our enthusiasm, how we inspire ourselves, how we direct our mindset. Understanding that then creates a ripple effect so we can sustain other challenges.
We have about 30 seconds left. I'm going to toss it back to Michelle, who's going to take us into our break, I believe. But when we come back, I want to talk with you about specifically how women in leadership positions can manage the dual demands of life and work. So I'll toss that back to Michelle, and let her take us to our break, and keep that in mind when we come back. We're going to talk about women in leadership roles.
Oh, I love to talk about women in leadership roles and how we balance everything out. And it's Your Life with Dr. James Cooley. We'll be right back after the break.
There's more stories of great.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
We're back. It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley, co-host, and we have Dr. Michael Mantell, co-host, and we got our guest, Sandra Gonzalez, and she is talking about some amazing things. So, audience, it's not too late. If you want to be part of the show, ask questions, provide comments. First of all, you can call into the station at 1-888-344-1170, 1-888-344-1170, or send your questions or comments wherever live streaming platforms, which is over 65, that you're watching the show, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and many more. So we're turning right back to you, Dr. Michael Mantell.
Thank you very much, Dr. Michelle Cooley. Welcome back, Sandra. You are a terrific guest. You have so much information and you present it so beautifully. I'm sure that our listeners, our viewers are just growing tremendously and have lots more questions. I have a question we haven't touched on yet, and that is, how can women, what can we understand about what women need in leadership development specifically, and how they can balance oftentimes dual roles, just like men have dual roles, but what specifically do we need to understand about the needs of women in the workplace in leadership?
Such a great question. The needs of women in the workplace. And I'm just going to share my genuine experience of what I've experienced, Dr. Mantell. I used to think masculinity was my superpower. After all, it was masculinity that enabled me to prove myself as a Marine. It was my masculinity that enabled me to be very competitive amongst, my male counterparts, female counterparts as well. And for the longest time, I realized, I said, masculinity is a good thing. It keeps me going. It keeps me competitive. I'm able to be direct. I can communicate assertively. And masculinity is great. But what I truly realized was, and I learned this the hard way, was that my femininity is my real superpower. And I realized this right after losing my father. I lost my father in 2021. At the same time, I was going through a difficult, challenging divorce that had lasted 3.5 years. So in that moment, through that experience, I realized that my ability to forgive myself and others was something I hadn't experienced before. So which is tied to our femininity. My ability to give myself grace for the hardships I had experienced meant such a big difference in the world, because now I could give myself a healthy dose of self-compassion when I needed it the most. My ability to receive help, my ability to be patient, my ability to genuinely love is tied to my femininity. So I share this with the female viewers and male viewers as well, because we must learn as leaders to tap into our femininity. This is our superpower, our ability to take a step back and think about what's happening so we can move forward in the right trajectory. Our ability to comfort ourselves when we're going through something so painful as losing my father, our fathers, or losing a death, experiencing the death of a loved one, or going through a difficult divorce. So I bring this up because this was a big aha moment for me, whereas for so many years I thought it was my masculinity. But the moment I realized that my ego was not my amigo, I let him go, and I said, I'll need my ego, I'll need my masculinity as needed when it comes to leadership, stepping on stage, being confident. But this ability to tie in my femininity and be myself and love and appreciate the woman I've become, this has been everything. So if we can, it's like somehow learn to, it's like an art form. Take our masculinity and know when to take from the femininity and combine the two. This is how you realize the authentic person that you are. So for me, that was such a big pivotal moment in my life that I realized life is messy and beautiful, and we must learn to extract meaningful lessons from life. And I must interpret them in a way that it serves me so I can keep being a better role model, not only for my clients and my sphere of influence, but for my children and for generations to come. So this masculinity and femininity piece are crucial, especially female leaders, because a lot of them think that we have to be masculine, that we have to be tough, and especially coming from a male-dominated world, you have to be yourself. You have to be authentic.
Right.
Wow. Sandra, tell us about your book, Taking Command. Tell us about your book. What message do you want to convey to the readers in this book? And basically, why did you write the book?
After my father's passing, I grew a lot. And I realized that there's this thing, Brendan Burchard, he's an influencer, motivational speaker. He talks about mortality motivation. And that really stood out for me, that tomorrow's never promised. And we must capitalize on every moment. So therefore, how can I capitalize on this present moment today to share the best of me with my daughters or generations to come? Because really, it's not about us. It's about serving other people that we will generate happiness. Happiness is a byproduct as a result of us being immersed in the things we love to do. So losing my dad, my father's demise was part of that lesson. And tomorrow's never promised. I don't know if I will be here tomorrow. So I have to write my book. I want my daughters to be proud of their mom for leaving behind the best of her, my wisdom, knowledge I've gained over the years, and with other leaders. And this book comes from my heart, the best of myself. And that's really why I decided to write this book, because long after I'm gone, my family or other leaders that are out there will pick up the book and read something that I thought was very important. Will read something that I valued and I want to impart onto others. So
we have just a moment or two left, just really quickly. And that is this. Continuous learning is an important tool in taking command of life and work. You open the door to continuous learning. If people want to be in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you to take advantage of learning more from you?
Absolutely. My website is www.sandragonzalez.com, and Gonzalez is spelled with 2 Z's.
Oh, okay.
You can reach out to me directly through my website. Thank you for that.
Pleasure, Sandra.
So, Sandra, besides taking command of your life and business, avoiding burnout, defining equilibrium, what other topics do you talk about during your speeches and your speaking tour that businesses, leaders benefit from? And we have about a minute or so. Can you kind of go over some topics?
Yes. So one of the questions I often get asked is, Sandra, how do I take command of the stage? How do I take command of any room I step into so I can magnetize opportunities for impact and growth? And one of the things I share with leaders, obviously I've shared the authenticity piece and this ability to cultivate your sexy confidence so you can master yourself. But the other thing is mastering your executive presence. What are the words you're choosing to convey?
Fabulous. Fabulous.
And Sandra, I'm sorry we've run out of time, but it's your life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Thanks, Sandra Gonzalez, and our co-host, Dr. Michael Mantell, for being on the show. We will see you guys tomorrow. And Sandra, we got more to talk about.
Cooley, show. It's your life. The James Cooley show. It's your life.